I'm going to embarrass this guy in a good way. And I heard from dear friend Julie Felder a while back about a big event coming up to help the Beachwood Bison. And when I say help, we all have fundraisers for all our schools. And you know how big high school sports is here at ESPN Cleveland. We stake our claim, and we're the home of the Browns. We're the home of the Buckeyes, and we're just as proud of having hashtag HS Hysteria, not only every Friday night, but Saturday morning. We have 2 hours of high school wrap-up shows. And I have a feeling that this gentleman, we have the coaches that won big games the night before, that this gentleman, Damian Creel, is going to be on the High School Stereo Rewind more than one time. But, Damian, when I talked about embarrassing you, I'm going to tell you something. I'm a little over 40, okay? I like to say. A little over 30. And when Julie sent me an email, because I wasn't even sure who the new coach at Beachwood High was, I saw your name, and I got excited, man. I mean, I was the kind of kid growing up when, and again, I was already grown up when you played, but my dad would say, hey, we're going to go to this game this Friday. Why, Dad? I want to see this guy named Frankie Solich. We're going to go to this game. Why? Because I want to see this guy named Brian Dowling. You know, that's the kind of sports fan he was. And, Damian, such a pleasure and honor having you here, and probably even more exciting for you as you made your mark. I mean, you were first-team Ohio at Beachwood years ago, football, baseball. You went on the high road and played football and baseball, but now you're head coach at your alma mater. How cool is that, man?
It's real cool. It's a blessing, so to speak. But
there's no doubt.
Yeah, it's a blessing to be back home and to be my first head coaching job. So it's a great feeling.
Now, you have been there and done that. You also have been in charge of all the great sports camps at Beachwood. I mean, as good as they get. Now, the buck stops with you. I mean, you're the man now. I mean, you know, they're going to say, where's Damian? He'll probably sleep in his office because he was watching film till 2 in the morning from the game before. But you're smiling, man. You're ready to rock and roll, aren't you?
Yeah, we're ready to go. I got hired late, but doesn't matter. We're just ready to go. We got done with practice today around 6:30, 7. So the kids are itching at the bit. We're just ready to get going.
I've got to ask you this. As a coach, and, you know, it's not the days. I mean, I played for Arch Snell Soul, and it was like, you guys don't get water, you're going to cramp up. You know, they gave us salt tablets, which was probably the worst thing. You know, a shock that many of us are still here. And then we had the old tunnel that was about 3 foot. You're smiling. You had it too. It was about, what, 20 yards long, right?
Right.
3-4 foot high. One guy went in one end and one guy in the other end. You see who came out.
Right.
You know, that kind of thing. But Ryan Peters, the athletic director for the Beachwood Bison, is here now. Ryan, how did Damian's name come up? Did he throw his hat in the ring when you needed a new coach? How did this all come about, man?
It's a great question. First of all, thanks for having us on.
Oh, it's our pleasure, man. My pleasure.
It really means a lot to us.
Thank you.
Damian is somebody I have followed his entire career as an athlete. So I'm a Beachwood grad. I was a couple years older than Damian. I graduated in '92, and we've known each other, and same with Julie. But Damian, I followed his entire high school career, watched a little bit of his college career. And then when he got into coaching, you know, I knew he was coaching basketball at Bedford, and you know, then slowly but surely he was inching in the football ranks, and was at St. Ed's, and you know, I was watching his progress there, and when he was at Richmond Heights, and then you know, I was totally impressed with what was going on at Glenville with Coach Ginn, and it was, you know, when you're hiring head coaches, you want to see who wants it, and you know, I was hoping that something would happen, and you know, and our previous coach Mike Gibbons, you know, got an unbelievable opportunity to go to Medina Highland, and it was late. The whole domino effect happened with, you know, with the St. Ed's maneuvers, and you kind of sensed it. And sure enough, you know, Damian's name appeared, and I'm like, that's it.
So
and,
you knew that this was the guy you wanted.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, it's so critical.
Was it a relief when you saw his name going, man, our problems are solved?
Well, and it was very interesting because when I sat down with Damian the first time, I wanted him to interview me. And, you know, I don't take that approach very often with an interview. I wanted Damian. I knew Damian, and I knew what he could offer to Beachwood, but I wanted to make sure Damian wanted to come back home. And I think when he walked out of that meeting, I think we answered almost every question. But Damian, I mean, he's a stud. I mean, and every day I'm with Damian, it gets better and better and better. I'm like, you know, I'm just utterly impressed. He is starting a little later than most people, but you know what? It's full blast, and we're working well. The most incredible thing is he put together a staff, an amazing staff, in such a short amount of time. And these he's got great people. Every time I was interviewing a new staff member, I'm like, Damien, where'd you find this guy? This guy's amazing. So yeah, I mean, did it hit me when his name? Yeah, and I was pumped, and it was the right time. And you know what? When you're looking for somebody that is vested in your program. Damien is truly vested. You know, I went to high school with his brother. We graduated together, and you know, it's right. It's the right thing. I think that we're going to do really, really well. But it's going to take time. It's a process.
Sure,
all things are.
But you know what? You took some big steps last year. It is the B.A. Sweeney Hometown Spotlight in studio. Ryan Peters, the Beachwood Bison athletic director. Damien Creel, the new Bison head football coach. And Damien, I look too at, and well, we won't forget Julie Felder. She's got the floor here in just a second. But when I look at, where you've been, I mean, Ryan just talked about Bedford, Richmond Heights, Glenville, St. Edwards. I mean, you've done it on the gridiron. You've done it on the hardwood. You've done it on the diamond. Have you taken a step back and say, okay, I like what this coach did here, this drill and this motivate on down the line, and you're combining them into, I'm going to call it the Book of Damien? That sounds biblical, doesn't it, man?
Yeah, definitely. I've been blessed to be under some great head coaches with Coach Adakovic at Bedford, well-known guy. And I coached on the team where we made the playoffs for the first time in school history. Cleveland Heights, Mike Jones, was a great guy. He's a college coach, and his last stint was Case Western. Coach Derek Johnson, that probably no one really knows about, that was a small little Richmond Heights. We spent 3 years there. And obviously the legendary, Coach Ted Ginn. And ever since I've started coaching, I've always wanted to take the good and the bad, so to speak, and to develop my philosophy and my mission statement for how I want the kids to be. And so, yeah, I have taken a little bit of here, a little bit of there.
Now, I'm glad you said the bad, and here's why. And I say this in a positive way, that I've had some quote-unquote bosses, whatever you want to call them, people ahead of me at radio stations, TV stations in the past. And you know what? Rather than, have a grudge, life's too short for that, I will see them and say, man, I wasn't very good when I had you. I was this. I said, no, that's okay, because I learned, because I would never do what you did. That kind of thing. So you learn from that, too, in a big, big way. And I like to, I could just tell from hearing you that, you're a football coach, but you're also going to make young men out of these players and good citizens. And Damien, I tell young men all the time when I go out to the schools to talk on down the line, is that, man, I'm counting on you. Black, white, red, yellow, I don't care. I mean, someday I want to be sitting in a rocking chair chilling on my front porch, with a good book, and you're going to be making the decisions doing it. Now, Julie Felder, you were the ringleaderess of getting Damien and Ryan down, and just like a harbinger of things to come for high school hysteria. You also have a big bash, a Beachwood Bison Boosters Bash on the 22nd of August. And like I said, schools do that, whether it's car washes with the cheerleaders, whether it's getting some people together to pluck down a few more bucks, and you're raising money for the athletic department. No doubt about it. And for the boosters, whatever you need to have. And this is coming down. We got to shout out the good people at Porsche of Beachwood, because you're having a party. That's like a party center. I've seen you at a party there before.
Yes, it's great. It's a great facility. They let us use their wash bays, actually. So we light it up, get a DJ, and we really get the party going.
This is the 22nd of August at Porsche of Beachwood. I know you're going to have great food, great party. We'll have coaches there, too, for the team. How can people get to be part of this event? What do they need to call? What website they need to get to? How much is it going to be? And what else is going to go on there?
Great question. So if you go to beachwoodschools.org, there's a link to the event. Tickets for a couple with a reverse raffle ticket are $150. You can get a ticket and an individual ticket for $100 with a reverse raffle, or just a standalone ticket for $50. So it's great. It supports the kids, the athletic programs, K through 12, and the boosters. Is really a great organization.
And are you top booster now?
I'm on the executive board.
Okay, well, you are an executive woman, so that's why I'm glad you're there. And something else, too, is that this night you said you have a DJ. You're going to dance. You're going to feed them. And it's going to be a good time. You know what's going to be cool, Damien? And Ryan, you're going to get some former Bison out there, too, man. And you'll be telling stories and reminiscing. It's going to be – everybody get out to this party. Get to beachwoodschools.org. I mean, it's like a class reunion of all the classes together, getting it done in a big, big way. And, Coach, I know you'll be out there fielding many questions, aren't you?
Definitely. I'm excited about it and can't wait.
Without tipping anybody off, what is the Damien Creel mantra, the credo for football, for offense, for defense?
Well, when I met the parents and kids, the first thing I said to the kids, I'm more than a football coach.
Okay.
I'm here to impact kids, and I want the best for your child. Yes, I am competitive. Yes, I want to win, but more importantly, we want to make sure these kids are graduating, make sure these kids' grades are on point, and make sure they're going to the next level, and use the game of football to help them, continue their educational endeavors in the future.
Ryan, you have to be excited, not just for the head coach, as you mentioned, the staff too. When does the season begin for the Bison this year?
So our first game opens up against
Gilmore. August 29th.
August 29th.
So it's a Saturday afternoon.
Yes, sir.
And
2 o'clock.
The Gilmore ADs are already starting to call us out.
So feel free, counterpart here, okay?
No, he's a good friend of mine, Jeff Walrich. But it's a big game for us. We've played them in the playoffs a couple times. We've had some barn burners with them. And that game is at their place.
No, it's at our
place. I'm sorry.
It is a home game. You know what? I'll tell you something neat, and I've always loved Shaker for that, loved you for that. There's still something. I mean, you talk about Friday night lights, but Saturday afternoon sunshine is still a pretty cool thing too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's different. Growing up, having to play on Saturday afternoons, it's a definite advantage for us because most kids is Friday night lights. So it's an advantage for us.
Yeah, get to go out and scout some other teams and get it done in a big, big way. Julie Felder, one more time. How can people get hooked up with the Bison Bash on the 22nd at Porsche Beachwood?
Beachwoodschools.org, and just click the link for the Bison Bash.
And I got to shout you out with the good people, too, at Jack's Deli, one of my favorite. The Blintzes are still the best, for bringing down a little dinner. Ryan Peters, Damian Creel, Julie Felder, Bison's in the studio. It's a heck of a good time and a lot of fun. Wishing you nothing but the best for the season. All right, friends?
Thanks for having us. I
Go
appreciate
Bison.
it.
Yeah, don't be strangers. And like I said, we'll be talking to you some Saturday mornings. Jason Gibbs will after some big games.